morning and welcome to Spirituality Gone Wild. I am Debbie G and it is time for a Cuppa Grata. And you know what time that is? That is time for a shot of expression and 2 squirts of reality. And my dog Squirt because he's just being obnoxious. I love Monster. We all love Monster, don't we? Before I get going, I want to play a really great video for everybody. And then I'm going to bring up our gorgeous guest today, one of my favorites to have on. Her name is Alexandra Loves, and she was on last week. So I know you got a really good glimpse of her then, but we're going to get a bigger glimpse of her now. And without further ado, I'd like to share with you something about the Goddess Fest. And while you guys are watching this beautiful intro, we're going to do it without the music because we aren't allowed to play the music. They've taken the music from us. Thank you, Facebook. For all of those that are watching right now, please put in who you are grateful for this morning. And here we go. Do 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 do. I'm gonna get this. I tell you what, I am a gonna. The Goddess Fest. This is the G Fest. Goddess Rising Online Summit. This is so exciting. October 16th through the 18th, 2020. Shakti. Leadership. This is going to be so much fun and empowerment. Empowering. Embodiment. Connection. Sisterhood. Yeah, I know y'all want to go, don't you? You can just feel it right now. And it's online. It's virtual. Look at this. How much fun is this going to be? Healing. We all need a little bit of that. Well, maybe you don't, but I do. I'll tell you what. Ceremony. Woo! God, this looks like so much fun. I cannot wait. Inspiration. Come awaken with us at the G Fest, October 16th through the 18th. Untamed. You are on Spirituality Gone Wild right now. Sacred. It is a beautiful sacred space for women to get together, to embrace your feminine, get wisdom from the elders, share your wisdom together. Together we rise. And without further ado, gfest.life. We will bring on our beautiful Alexandra Loves.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning, sunshine. So I got to tell you, I have to get a little bit inventive with the no music thing. You know what I mean?
I know. I have a show too, and I'm like, oh, I have to redo all these titles and everything.
Yeah. And, gearing everything for you, Facebook, is just, come on already, but that's all right. We're going to work with it because why not?
Yeah.
Rather than complain, it's not going to stop us. Nothing will stop us now.
Yeah. I mean, we're innovative people. There's messages to get out, and ultimately, maybe this is an impetus for all of us to start learning to play live instruments again.
It's funny you say that. I'm thinking about that because I was driving. I live in Huntington Beach, and there's a guitar center here, and that's where I like to take my granddaughter, like, for fun day.
Yes.
We like to go to Guitar Center. I film them on Facebook Live. They're great. And I let her play with all the instruments. So I started playing guitar when I was around 7. And then I played clarinet in high school.
Okay.
And whatnot. And I was driving past Guitar Center the other day, and I'm telling my son, I'm like, because both my kids are musicians now. And I said, well, gosh, I really think I want to play again. And I thought, I don't want to play guitar, though, because I don't want to take my nails off. I love my nails. If you guys can see, I've got chrome this time. Well, they're mine underneath, but look at that. They're chrome. I mean, I have too much fun. So then I'm thinking, well, piano. I've got these huge hands. They reach over an octave on a piano. And I'm thinking that would be so much fun. So, yeah, 52, I'm thinking.
Do it.
I'm thinking I've always wanted to. There was one time I channeled playing the piano, and I have that on recording,
Uh-huh.
and it was way cool. Do you play instruments?
I grew up playing the piano, but I rejected it as a kid. I liked engaging with music, but I just it didn't take. I didn't like the pressure. It felt like it was coming with pressure, and so I rejected that when I was a little older. And then more recently, now I'm starting to learn like the hang drum and playing. I have a drum here, so I'm learning to play percussive type sounds, but it's there was a time in my life I was a musician, and now I'm feeling like I am going to become a musician. It's been long enough that I didn't retain a lot of of my musicianship.
Okay, so I'm vibing with you on that, and so I don't, and I think that's probably why I collect rock stars for fun.
Uh-huh.
Just musicians. I just do because I just am enamored with the way that they share their soul every time that they play their music, and that's the one thing about music that you're invited into someone's soul when you're listening
Yeah.
to it. It could be the other day I posted this funny little my lipstick made angel wings on my coffee cup, and I needed to post it on Facebook because I find that to be real special.
Yes.
Anyway, so I put Sade's Kiss of Life with it. And
Uh-huh.
then Sydney, who's one of the co-producers of G-Fest, she's texting me going, "Oh my
Uh-huh.
God, I love that song." But every time, like I have that song, like has all this like special meaning to my heart. And I'm
Yes.
thinking to myself, like that is what we do though. Even if you're not a musician, if you're sharing your music with somebody, whether it's your voice and your words, or it's your internal melody, or if it's a song that you love, you're sharing a piece of your soul and a piece of you. And
Yeah.
I would encourage people today that ask somebody, "Hey, what's your favorite song? I'm just curious. Like, what's your like
Hmm.
what gets your oomph going?" And
Yeah.
and because if you embrace that, like you get to actually learn something that's deep inside of them most of the time if you're willing to listen. And gratitude in reverse,
Gratitude.
gratitude in reverse.
I love it.
I don't know. Can you like, is there a reverse of gratitude? Like, really, when you think about it, does it go? You give gratitude, you receive gratitude. When you receive if you're not in gratitude, you're in gratitude, literally. But what is it to?
I feel like gratitude is one of those things that when you sort of, I don't know what to call it, the entities, energy, that when you practice it and you give it density and momentum in your practice of it, that you, I have a cat here who wants to be part of this.
Hi,
Um,
pumpkin.
I feel like it's one of those vibrations uh, that just when you practice it, it always comes back. Like, I mean, I guess everything really comes back, but I feel like it's palpable. When I'm practicing gratitude, I can like feel it coming back to me. I can feel it
Yeah.
enter space. And it just, I guess it just depends on perspective too, because you can express gratitude in a space where, or with a person that is challenged by that feeling, is or triggered by that feeling, and you might get
hmm
something else that comes back to you. So I think the given circumstances matter. I think what you're saying is possible, but the given circumstances matter.
Yeah, of course, absolutely. I completely agree with that too. Gratitude can be a trigger for some people. And that's why I debunk those myths of gratitude. I debunk them, but well, believe me. And you can get debunked by Debbie G with my 21-day course if you become a member at Spirituality Gone Wild's Untamed VIP membership. Hey, did you know that spirituality has gone wild?
Oh my god. You are so high in the morning.
I really am.
I'm a little different. I'm like, when I wake up in the morning, it takes me like a few hours before I'm like fully turned on. Like my eyes won't even open all the way until like 12 p.m.
I love you. And
I love it.
I I think I'm a Hamlet. I I was brought up in theater in Diamond Bar, California, and I went to the Diamond Bar Children's Theater. Okay, I was a little peewee. Well, there was nothing ever little about me. So I'm going to the theater, and I think that it's just in my blood. And the minute that I know there's a camera, it's like, oh, I'm on. I can play. And then I can, it's just, I mean, really. And then I am the same way in life, but it's the way I get to play and express. So probably why. Okay, so y'all check it out. This morning, I
Mhm.
look at this young lady's website, and I gotta tell you, this is just I don't know if you guys have seen it, but I actually titled this live, and this is really about the G Fest. This young lady is going to be she's going to be holding the BIPOC panel, and we're gonna talk about that later, and we're going to talk about what you're going to experience with the G Fest, gfest.life. The link is right there in the chat. But in the meantime, oh, you guys, listen to this. Can you imagine creating what you want by being exactly who you are? So that's the question today. And it was also a question on her, I think it was on her bio actually, as you go down and she's asking you questions. Can you imagine creating what you want by being exactly who you are? And I want you to really kind of sink into this. Thank you for putting it in the chat, Speedy. Really sink into this, you guys. And while you do, tell me about that. How did this concept come forward for you in your life?
Well, I will say this. We're all drawing from a record of wisdom. Some of us have different accesses to those records depending on the makeup of who we are, but we're all drawing from a record of wisdom of what is needed and what is healing and what is necessary for part of our destinies for this life. And so I want to acknowledge that this is not a concept that I or anybody else just made up. This is, you'll hear famous quotes like know thyself and everything. And for me, how it manifested was I grew up in a place in Saudi Arabia in an international community. I grew up with extreme privilege in that both my parents are home. Both my parents loved me. Both of them were highly involved in what I was doing and allowed me to, we traveled the world and I never wanted, lacked for being fed or anything like that. And had really great education and all this. And when I got to the United States, so then I moved to the United States. And when I moved to the United States, I had high esteem and confidence and never really questioned who I was or sort of what I was doing in my life. I was happily following along on the path. And when I moved here, immediately was confronted with race identity and nationalism and being in for me, the United States is a foreign country. So being in a foreign country that I was supposed to be from, but not really from, that seemed like a place of lore. We visited once a year, but it was just like visiting Thailand or Turkey or, wherever. And so now I was living in this place and realizing like, oh, is this where I'm supposed to stay? And so just went through, now I've lived in the States for a while and full time now, probably like 15, 16 years, full time United States. And just found this, like, I just went on this roller coaster. I went on like a racial identity crisis. I was really challenged with being in a place where, I grew up in a place where people from all over the world and traveled the world. And I came to a place where in the United States, worldview, looking at the world as all connected is just, it's not a typical American view. It's becoming more, thank goddess, right? But
Yes.
but
Uh,
because of that, because of the challenges in my life, because of being super, super sensitive,
uh-huh.
and being able to draw from the specific wisdom that I was drawing from, and being sort of, even if I had groups of people that I loved and really loved me, I've always sort of been this satellite on the outside because of my experience and, just who I am. And so I realized, so I went through this whole long thing of peeling back these layers of like, is this really who I am? is this really who I am? And finding that as long as I am in my evolution, as long as I'm always focusing on who I really am and finding the ways to become that, which is new, all continues to be new, continues to evolve, right? Then that's where my joyful place is. That's where my best creations come from. That's where my success is. That's where my healing comes from. That's where I need to stand if I'm being triggered by something. That is where I absolutely need to be grounded into. If there's conflict, that's who I want to, who I really am, and the evolution of that self and how the depth of where that goes. That is, to me, the place. That's why I am here, is to know and live as who I am. And I find that when I apply it to, like, dating or making money or whatever it is that I'm trying to do in my life, if I come back to that place of who am I, how do I do this, what's really real for me, what's the truth, how can I express this, how can I express this in a way that I have boundaries that make sense for me, but also I'm open in a way that people can feel the message that comes through me, then I always end up satisfied. I always end up in the growth place I want to be in. I always feel aligned with my spirit, my ancestors, and my spirits. So that has always been that personal experience has always been the basis for my work, spiritual guidance, empowerment. I work mostly with women, empowerment, helping people, in the transitions of their love lives, growing, putting their juice online if they're creating spiritual business. And more recently, with race issues, that's something that I've always dealt with and started seeing it come up with my clients, the women I was working with in the last 3 years. And so I also have a course in that just started called the Anti-Racist Journey. So that's out there too.
Oh, yeah. If you guys go right here, you guys see it floating across the screen, alexandraloves.com.
Yeah.
And you can check out your courses and whatnot, and which I find absolutely, I mean, this is incredible. And the responses coming in from the course that started yesterday on the anti-racism they're phenomenal. So I definitely encourage you all to check it out. Let's see who's on this morning. Hi, good morning, Ellie. Good morning. How are you? Ellie, I adore you. We need to hook up soon. You're like in Palm Springs, dude. Like, I need to see you because I'm going to go out there and visit soon. So, and tell me how it's going. She's one of our gratitude graduates, and
fun.
She's a rock star, man. I'm going to tell you what. All right, so you guys, she grew up in Saudi Arabia, which I find fascinating. You had this incredible childhood. Yeah. I totally love it. I mean, how freaking are you guys? Just like, do you get into the story of this and how juicy it is? It's just awesome. My mind goes in all of these things. I'm thinking like I'm going into like, the Alibaba cave and floating around on the magic carpet and just kind of, Genie in the magic lamp. I mean, just all kinds of, but my brain, it goes straight to Disneyland.
I know.
And I'm like right there with the Genie and Aladdin. So, okay. But one of the things, but I wanted to get into the magical part of you that I actually kind of want to explore because we haven't yet. I don't want to talk about you, the fact that you are an oracle, what that means, and what do you offer, what services you.
Yeah.
Audience, you're gonna like this.
Yeah. So just to give context, because there's, especially spirituality gone wild, there are so many different ways that people practice spirituality, and that original peoples practice spirituality. Just to give context, I'm initiated in my own spiritual family. I'm oracle, but really I put that on there so people sort of have some sort of idea, but really it's a very personal journey. Initiations are very, very personal journey. And I could sit and try to explain it many, many times. But really that's about my personal journey. I just put that on there so that people can have some sort of plug into what you're going to get. I am not a medicine woman. I'm not a medicine woman in the sense that I'm going to be giving you herbs. You know what I'm saying? So I put that because people, when they're looking for help and they're looking for healing, they often are looking for like some sort of category beyond like just finding resonance with me. So, and just also for for reference, initiation really has to do with in our tradition, you're born in your spirit with many potential to be a certain type of priestess or priest, depending on your spirit. Like my spirit is male, so like and I am female, identify as female and female bodied. I can be a priest and a priestess of things. So you're born with all these potentials. You might be some sort of what we would translate to like a monk type situation, and when you get initiated, you in our tradition, just because you have those potentials doesn't mean you are those things until you get initiated within the structure, within a temple that has been holding the tradition and the relationships and the respect between the deity and human beings for a millennia. So that's a structure. That's sort of what's going on in temples and spiritual families, is a maintained relationship over a long period of time. And so you go there with your potentials, and you and your spirit and your ancestors and their spirits kind of all sit down and go through processes that say, yes, we're in agreement. What does it take to be in agreement that this is now, yes, manifested? So this is an agreement. You now are initiated priestess, oracle, monk, whatever it might be. It goes like this in some version, in some version of this, and many different so how that goes into my work, and it's going to get really loud here in just a minute. So Debbie, do you want to take over just for a minute, because they're about to recycle and I live in an apartment building?
Oh yeah, for sure.
I'm so sorry. I'll be right back.
Oh, not a problem. Okay, so I'm going to take over for a minute, everybody. Hi! Oh my God, I love being on in the mornings. If you missed Steve Weber's show, American Gumption, make sure you go back and check it out. And in the meantime, also, I want to tell you about Spirituality Gone Wild and our new Untamed, absolutely unbridled VIP members only, baby, members only. I'm so excited about this, and it is just ridiculously fun. And here you go.
Okay. Perfect timing. Sorry about that. I'm not
a problem.
here. Yeah, I'm not usually here on Monday morning, so I thought this only happened on Friday, but there's like enclosures, so it's like the bottles are falling. It's this truck, and it's like amplified, and no one's on Friday when this happens. You just see like everybody wake up. Like,
oh, totally.
It's so loud.
Well, I get you, because right now, see, you were talking, but when they just rolled in the big trucks, they're finishing our roofing.
Oh.
We're getting, yeah, and Monster's right here, my dog. Everybody say hi hi, everybody. Good morning.
I love that dog so much.
Good morning. He's shaky. He's petrified. He cannot stand it. He is just like, he hates these big clunky sounds on the roof, and he just gets so sad. You're loved, honey. You're loved. So, okay. So yes, we saved ourselves from the big rackets this morning. Yeah. We rock. Everybody go to spiritualitygonewild.com and join our membership. We've got the coolest stuff you can't even imagine. Ellie says, I'm grateful. I love her. She's so cool. I'm grateful that I was able to catch you live. Busy with my crazy life, but grateful and thankful for it. I'm thankful for you too, baby girl, baby girl. All right. So, do you use cards when you do readings?
I do use cards when I do readings. So, and that's I want to say that's what when I work with people, usually they're coming with a question, something that they're trying to change in their lives. They're ready to make a transition to know themselves better. Which, as I said before, this is the way to your prosperity and your success, and to the relationships, and to finding the healing in your life, and all of that. And so part of initiation for me, and this is getting initiated and being in a spiritual structure like that is not for everybody. That is not what I lead most people into, but that was a process that was culminated over many years for me to get to that point. And so a lot of people I work with are in those places where they're like, there's something big that I need to do. There's something huge that, within me that needs to come out. There's something that's been plaguing me and blocking me, and it's repeating itself, and I don't know how to get out. And so I do a lot of work, whether it's one-on-one or in group classes on a specific subject. That's the work that I'm doing with people. And yes, I do use cards. I use oracle cards. I've never felt totally aligned with tarot, so I use oracle cards with people. I mean, I do offer just regular readings, just regular oracle card readings, which you can find on my website. But within my deep dive sessions, or if somebody's doing a longer program with me, it's just part of what we do. And then when I'm working with somebody long term, I also I will do like more divinity practices that are like my own private divinity practices to find out more, so that I can help them with whatever it is. Right now, a lot of the focus is putting my work into the Spiritual Foundations Library, which is where I have my my classes, Ancestor and Working with Your Ancestors in Spirit, which is open. My class is open now, the Anti-Racist Journey. And what's coming soon is sort of like my A class, the thing that everyone should take if they want to work with me, finding that place within you inside that is alive and very much you and your spirit, and understanding your own nature and purpose. And especially for my sensitives out there, because I myself am very sensitive and definitely have gone through and have a PhD in dealing with vampires. And so this is also something.
No, dude, I can't even believe you just segued there, because guess what?
Huh.
I had that on here to ask you about. Oh, goody. We had it. I have it up. Okay, you guys ready? Energy vampires and the energy suckers. This is crazy. Well, first I want to talk about the oracle before we step into the vampires. And you guys, anybody ever experienced what they feel like is their energy sucked away after their encounter with somebody? I know I definitely feel that when I'm sensitive we're sensitive energetically, like we can feel that pull. So teaching ourselves how to block is really important, and how to protect our own energy. But back to the oracle, what I dig is that I love them because they're always a confirmation. The oracle cards. And it's weird because I don't get into the tarot either. I've never been able to connect with it. So I have oracle cards, or I'll use the ones I have right now they're called chakra.
Okay.
So they're all based in the chakras, which are fascinating. I really absolutely love them, to tell you the truth.
I suggest that everyone get a deck, even if you don't feel like you can confidently read them, because all oracle cards, there's even like angel cards and stuff. All they are doing is just giving you an open door or a focus point of something that's already inside. And that's, that is also, I believe, is the job of oracle is, it's not that I have the answers, although it might look that way for somebody who is not be able to access their own answers in that moment. It's really that I'm just opening a door that so that somebody else can see what it is that's already inside them, or opening a door to the record and relaying a message. But it's not like me, Alexandra, who has the answer. It's just my job to like open it. And those oracle cards do that. That's why they're called oracle cards.
Exactly. I love this. And it's like as I sit here, it's like what and tell me if anybody else gets this. Like you just have this you're just blown a wide open. Like you're just really wide open as an intuit, as connected to source. You're just absolutely blown open.
I, you know, I think yes, and also the more sort of my skills develop, and uh, I find out more about myself and who I am, what I'm supposed to be doing in this world, in my own spirit. I find that part of the journey for me, and this is some of the things I teach, especially for us sensitives and intuitives, is how do I stay open and also have a strong back? How do I
Right.
stay open and, depending on the given circumstances, talking face to face, being online, being in my own online spaces, being somebody else's
Mhm.
own online spaces, how do I, what type of openness, like what degree of openness I should say, makes sense, and also having good boundaries to protect myself. There's a lot of spirituality and a lot of openness online that um is going to draw in energy that you don't want in your life, or people that you don't want to be attached to, especially on online. I'm very careful about little things like I don't really post a lot of skin online. I don't tend to post a lot of dancing online, or my like very special things that are I do. I don't post my altars online ever, and my sacred practices I won't even talk about online. And one of the things that I find, and I've worked with people who in the past had done this a lot, and were just kind of covered in dirt and covered in spiritual attacks, and were bonded to people and entities that they didn't want to have anything they didn't want
Yeah.
anything to do with. And then when looking at sort of like their history, it's like they're putting all their stuff everywhere, sharing it with everyone. So yes, I'm open, but I also hold boundaries, because people, you don't want to give people access to all of your everything all the time.
Well,
We're
this is so true.
vampires.
Okay, all right, we're back to the vampires again. We just, it was so funny because when I saw that when I was reading about this on your website, I'm like, it
Yeah.
it literally jumped off and went, "Hi, look what you're going to talk about today because this is really good stuff." All right, let's get juicy. What is an energy vampire?
So an energy vampire is, and this can be psychic vampire, and some people just say energetic vampire. Basically, someone who is sucking the energy out of you in any. It could be just by sitting next to them, how they're talking to you, how you're building with it, whatever. I believe that vampires. I used to say, "Oh, they're narcissists" long ago, and then I realized that a vampire can be a narcissist, a sociopath, a vampire can be anyone who is using tactics that suck your energy from you. And we experience this a lot, as people who gaslight and deflect and manipulate, goalpost moving, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I do want to also say that they are, vampiric behavior is an agent of the system we live in. We live in a vampiric system. This is a colony. The United States is it's a white supremacist colony. It doesn't mean you're a white supremacist. We don't have to get too into that, but
Mm-hmm.
it's a white supremacist colony. Part of the way the United States is
Where
built.
is it?
Sorry.
I'm okay. Okay, really?
Yes,
No shit.
the United States. I'm not talking about the land of America. I'm
I'm
talking
just
about
like I listen. Yeah, this
structure
is
of the
awesome.
United States. The structure of the United States was built on slavery and white supremacism. In order to keep the enslavement of Black people going, we had to have white supremacism. There
I
are
guess
people.
that I guess that's true. I kind of live in a box sometimes. I swear
It's
to you,
okay.
and
Most
I
of us
hear
do.
things, and it's like that.
Most of us do.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
I think that it's an interesting perspective coming from the fact that that you didn't grow up here, and I think growing up here and growing up where I grew up in the suburbs and in a very I was in an upper class, very interracial
yeah.
area, but prominently white. prominently white. I have to say that it was prominently white.
Yeah.
So it's just an interesting, and I think that this is why that everything. I think this is why the United States is blowing up, because
Yes.
it's time for this shit to change. Y'all ready to
Yes.
let's do this. Let's do this. Okay, keep going.
Yeah. So and I'm not saying it to shock you. I'm just speaking the truth. All you have to do is just look into the history that's been hidden from us. The reason I'm saying this seemingly sweeping remark is that in order for the self-interest of having slaves, there were good people who were here. It didn't matter what color their skin was. There were good people here. In order to continue to convince people to allow things like enslavement and the torture of Black people, and the torture of Black people, and I'll just stop there because that's just the tip of the iceberg. They had to convince people. They had to have science. They had to have culture. They had to have society and education built around that. African people were less than, that were dehumanized. That is white supremacism. The science that white people hire and Black people are inhuman. So that's in our education systems. That's in our government. That's who our forefathers were. That's who the people on Mount Rushmore are. So these are systems that have not totally been broken down. This is why we're hearing dismantle racism. That's why we're hearing like it's with white supremacists in all our structures. The agents. Now this is psychopathy. Okay, this is without empathy. This is a complete non-compassion of treating other human beings. The agents of that system are vampires. The agents of that system, sucking the life out of, sucking the soul out of, sucking the getting into the structure and injecting toxicity into structures that are balanced. And so it doesn't mean that all vampires are all narcissists or are all psychopaths or white supremacists. That is not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is when you live in a country that has those structures, you're going to produce conditioning and agents that are vampiric. People, what is the common theme with narcissists and sociopaths? One common theme is that a lot of them lack empathy, right? What is the common theme for almost all narcissists? A lot of them lack empathy. What is the common theme for when someone who might not be a psychopath or might not be a narcissist themselves, but is being vampiric? Because, sometimes we can do that to each other, even if we don't live that way. Sometimes we can do that to each other.
True. It's
when we are not in our place of empathy and compassion. So I do a lot of work around that. And the first work always is, because empaths can be vampiric sometimes. Sometimes we can take over a room with our feelings and with how we're reflecting and projecting. So that's the first work always is like, when am I being vampiric? Then we start dealing with like, how do I deal with the vampires out there?
Right. And I got to agree with this because especially if you have a strong personality, you have the ability to, we all have the ability to affect those around us.
Yeah.
We all do. And this is such an important thing. Empathy. Radical compassion is needed and empathy is needed in this world. Marshall Rosenberg, Nonviolent Communication, his work is outstanding. He's no longer with us, but his work still is. And in fact, Katrina Valancourt starts Ignite Compassion next Tuesday, teaching all about how to love smarter with compassion. Compassionate communication is the ability to shift your perspective from looking at things from judgment, blame, shame, criticism, and hatred, and all of those things that come into the egoic space of your being, and knowing how to shift this into a space of being radically accepting, and also instead of being judgmental or to be curious about another, to be curious about yourself, though, because you said a key thing, and that is the ability to tap into the own spaces that you're not practicing being the best version of you could you could be, and you know that you are. See, this is the thing that kicks my butt. I know damn good and well when I'm being, I'll tell you what, there was nobody around yesterday. I'm by myself a lot. And I'm thinking about something that's not important. All of a sudden, I get this. Now, isn't that just being ugly right there?
Hmm.
My grandma's words pop into my head. Isn't that, she always used to say, don't act ugly. You can do anything you want, but you don't act ugly. Okay. I don't care. You know, you can be angry, you can be whatever, but don't you act ugly. Okay. That meant don't be mean to people.
Yeah, my
Don't,
grandma said the same thing. Yeah.
don't act ugly. So I, yesterday in my thought, because I had a thought, guys, I was being the egoic, judgy person. Okay. And instantly I just took a step back, literally in the mirror, and went, now, isn't that so? Don't act ugly. And then I had to really take a look at me. Why was I feeling this way? Why am I thinking this way? Where is it coming from? And why am I triggered?
Yes.
Okay, because I can't go forward until I figure that part out. That part is on you, everybody. So stop the finger pointing out there, because yes, there are vampire suckers, and yes, we have had a lot of societal structure that has taught us to maybe a perspective that probably isn't serving you. So what we're talking about here today is we're stepping into the solutions that do serve us.
Yeah.
And so getting honest with yourself is one part of how that you do this. So let's look at some other ways that we can be the solution for a system that is just freaking not working. And that includes, that system is part of our structure in our life. Before that we jump into that, though, I just really want to say I see you, everybody, in the chat.
Hello, Cindy and Kelly. And
Hi,
I see
guys.
other users, but I can't see their names. But hello. Hello.
I love you guys. I love you guys. I love you guys. You know I love you guys. Mwah. And if you have any comments or if you want to share any thoughts, please do that. And Ellie says, but we still have to take responsibility for our actions.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is a long time ago, 10 years ago when I dealt with, back then I was just like, everybody's in our, not everybody, but like I said, I went through vampire school. It was like a door opened in the universe. And
you get scars. There's like scars. Do they really do it on the neck?
Yeah. I have some scars. You can't see them, but I do have some scars.
Me too. I was wondering where those were. I used to think I liked it, actually.
I want to say this. I have this belief. It's not even a belief. I know that this is true, that in a world that has so much psychopathy in it, and vampiric systems, and the supremacy and the way supremacism manifests in all of us, it's a condition that we all get affected by, right? Is that there always has to be the universe, the earth will always provide a remedy. Always. There's nothing that doesn't exist without something that rebalances it. And that's what we experience in the world. All of this, like this, but this option, but this option, but this option, this option, and we are seeing in this ending of the old world and beginning of the new, there's a reason why all these systems are being challenged. Our education system, our police system, our health system, our government system, our balance of powers in all industries. I don't know a single industry that's not being challenged in some way by everything that we're looking at as a people. And what has been birthed in the last, I want to say 50 years, is a lot of sensitive people, a lot of people who have hyper empathy and hypersensitivity. A lot of people, a lot of teaching now that's really, really deeply focused in trying to bring compassion and empathy into all industries and all power structures. A lot of truth tellers, whether it's the ugly truth or a truth that you want to know or not.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And so I believe that the people who are sensitives, the people who identify sensitives and empaths, you are the future. You are the future leadership. You are the ones that have the remedy for this world that we're living in. That's one of the reasons I teach what I teach. And I also want to say this, because we're coming to I know we're going to come to the end here soon. all the things that you're hearing me say about this being a white supremacist country, about white supremacism, and also actually racism being a condition. You know, I look at racism as at racism and white supremacy and all the things we experience around justice and you know the racial issues. I look all of it from a spiritual level. I see it as a shadow side of deity, racism. I see racism and white supremacy as a condition that we're all affected by, though it affects all of us differently, and the remedies that we all need are slightly different. And this is one of the things that I'll be teaching about at G-Fest. This is one of the things I wanted to tell people about. It was the video at the beginning of our time at Cuppa Grata here. G-Fest is a festival that's going on October 16th to 18th.
Woo!
And
Yep.
I'm so excited about it. Definitely talking about it at the beginning. And I've gathered with the blessing of the awesome Michaela and Sydney who hold that festival, who are the originators and holders of that festival. I've gathered together people for a BIPOC panel. It's called Activism, Healing, and Creating Change. And we go into these concepts, and we talk about what can activism be if we're really looking at this charged chasm that is racism, and what we can create in the new world. I've gathered together some really, really powerful women. Maybe they'll come to your show, Debbie. I don't know. We'll try to get them on to talk about.
I hope so. I was behind the scenes at the first Goddess Fest, the pre-fest.
Okay.
And
yes.
Yep. It was so much fun, you guys. 3 days. There's dancing, there's music, there's teaching, there's all kinds of extraordinary spaces that are going to be available at this new one coming up. It is highly encouraged that you click on that link that's in the chat. And thank you for posting it again, Alexandra. Yeah. And you guys, this is going to be 3 days of extraordinary fun.
Yes.
And right now there's a special going on, and you could also go to the G-Fest. Let me bring this up here. You can go to the Goddess Collective Facebook group.
Yeah.
Okay, if you want to find out more information, there's even more videos in there. There's more information. We are going to be doing interviews all week long with the presenters. Every single day this week, I'll be showing up with the presenters of the G-Fest, and next week as well, leading up to the G-Fest, which is starting on October 16th. So you guys really need to get on it and get your tickets right away. I am just beyond excited about this. This is going to be so much fun.
And it's what people are looking for. You know, it's immersive. There's ways for it's immersive. It's all of the programming in there has to do with community. Really, it's all community building.
Yeah.
You know, you can even see on their website, they talk about like sister circles and even our panel discussions, the panel that the two panels there's a priestess panel and a BIPOC panel. There's community discussions after. So with G-Fest, you're not just showing up and just like watching and walking away. There's literally places for everybody to meet each other, and there's networking circles and stuff like that. And also you can come take classes. So for example, the class that I'm teaching is Ancestral Legacies, Understanding Our Racial Roles and Remedies. So I go deeply into this. And by the way, I don't practice shame or guilt or judgment when I'm teaching about these things. I don't like to inject that. I don't understand when people teach with shame and guilt. I think it's counterintuitive. I think it just feeds into, I think it's using the oppressor's tools, to be quite honest. And so I don't use that. But for those of you who really want to engage with your own activisms and do it from that like spiritual place, this is a really fantastic place to be. There's classes being taught on an activist guide to survival, and you know what it really is activism. It doesn't always mean going down. You know, I live in Portland. Those protests are happening right down there, like 7 blocks away. That's not my way. That's not my activism. We have Nikhila Boudoir, who is teaching decolonizing through cultural community arts, activism through the arts. Claudia Quintes is teaching self-healing as a revolutionary activist, self-healing as your own activism. These aren't things that we hear about in our traditional, in our I should say mainstream activism practices, so much of our mainstream activism is like study, 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 fight, 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 study, 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 fight, fight, fight. And you might find yourself landing in there somewhere, finding what's important somewhere in there, but ultimately, fight, fight, fight is not everybody's way.
No,
We should
absolutely
always be
not.
there,
And
but that's not everybody's way.
no, it's time to have a different way. And you can't even you can't teach compassionate communication. You can't teach empathy practices and being and shaming at the same time, because it just doesn't work. True empathy practice and it really is learning how to hear and to show up and to be there for another, and really being curious about what's real for another human being.
Yes.
And I think that that's
Oh,
such
yeah.
a so it's such a huge thing. So that next person that pisses you off out there because they're acting
Mhm.
a fool in line because of COVID, and you're just like, oh, think about. And I actually had this happen. Okay, at Marshalls, I'm in line. This chick, y'all ready for this? This lady says to this other lady's teenage, I mean, she wasn't even a teenage girl. She must have maybe 12 or 13 max, right? Step back, just like that. And I'm like standing there, and I wanted to say something. I like, because this poor little girl, I was just like, and instantly, because of these practices, my mind went to what must be real in her life right now.
Yeah, to do
That
that.
she has zero needs met. She doesn't know how to self source. She's absolutely, could you just imagine being her? And the empathy comes from, I've been her, and that does suck.
Yeah.
It sucks to be her right now. It really does. It's like, and that's where my mind went. So that's what empathy practice teaches. And going to something like the G Fest helps you to find the classes for you to integrate practices that are definitely going to give you some new tools to work with. And that's what I'm stoked about. We've
Yeah.
got Andrea Lynn's going to be teaching from her book, Born Enough. Born Enough. Yeah, baby. Katrina Valancourt will definitely be there. Katrina's going to be teaching about igniting compassion, and I'm not sure her class. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but that's okay. We have an entire. There are 18, I think, total presenters, and there's 18 presenters. There's a ton of classes, and all of this for $97. And there is an offer inside of the Goddess Fest group, so you guys can go to the Goddess Fest group, and also just click on the link right here. You see the linky poo? Just click
Yep.
on the linky. The linky's over.
There's the
It's over there.
link.
Okay, I want to visit the audience here before that we have to get going, because
Okay.
I've just been getting some awesome messages. Tracy, yes, baby, I'm still live. I'm still live. So I'm still alive, honey. I've known Tracy like forever. She's the coolest chick on the planet. She doesn't live too far from me. I'm gonna come see. I got to go visit her soon, soon, soon. Steve Weber, American Gumption, everybody that was just on right prior to this. If you missed it, go watch the replay. Steve Weber says, "I love Alexandra's message and stand for what stand she is take and the stand she is taking. The world needs more Alexandras."
Oh, that's sweet. Thank you. I'm just relaying a message. I'm just, like I said, we're all drawing from a record, and we all are going to perceive it a different way. And so I'm just saying what it seems like is coming through, and hoping that it will land on who needs to hear it. And I want to remind everybody that we right now is the time to tell your story, because there are people who need to hear it exactly like you say it and tell it, and to inspire them. We need to continue to bring what we know to be the truth out into the world.
Oh, heck yeah. Can we get I want to get a hell yeah out there, please. Alexandra, as you talk, I'm getting downloads, and a lot of them. You're powerfully delivering a huge messages. Woo!
Blessings
Right?
to you. Blessings. Thanks for listening. Ding, 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 ding. That probably we were talking about empaths and stuff.
Right. Okay, Tracy, I'm opening up my live because that's where you're on. Come on. Give me dude, it's not showing me your comments, baby. I see that you're trying to make, okay. She's saying nice to meet you.
Nice
Ah,
to meet you.
Goddess Debbie and Goddess Tracy. You know, Tracy and I have known each other through, geez, almost like 15 years of stuff, right, Trace? Come out on the other side and to tell you all there is a way to do it differently. Going to the G Fest actually is going to give you so many tools. You guys, you have to do this. It's a bunch of women getting together, getting our spark on. And sparking your G vibe is what it's all about. Sparking your G vibe at the G Fest is really where it's at.
And
So,
I would like to add something to that too. Is that as someone who fits into the world, sort of like the coaches and the healers and spirituality and everything, I started in the last couple of years when I got invited to either be in or invited to come to these online festivals and summits and everything. I started just stepping back and going, look, everybody's white. I don't want to go to a place and I don't want to be the only person of color there anymore. Like what's going, and this is something that you all, if you want to be active, can do, is when, I just started saying to people like, this is awesome. I think your message is awesome. I don't need to be in a fight with them, but your message is awesome. But I just feel like I'm seeing so many white faces. Where is the color? I wouldn't feel comfortable there. Let me know if you'd like me to facilitate bringing some color into your festival, or just contact me when you get to that place, and then we can talk about whether or not I'll be involved. And so when I started doing that, there was a long period of time where I just didn't go to festivals and summits and all of this stuff because it was just very white. But now that's changing. Now that's changing. People are not only trying, but they're like committed to. It's not just they're trying for tokens, but they're actually committed. This is one of the reasons I'm in partnership with Sydney and Michaela at GFest, is because they're like, we want to make sure we are doing this right and we have people of color and there for the right reasons, and that this is who we are, not just an installment for this time, but this is who we are. We are inclusive and we are colorful and we are diverse, and I have to really honor that they are committed to that. And so this is something that you're going to see that's different. We have a whole BIPOC panel and BIPOC wisdom classes, and so this is something that's really, I believe, they're progressive in that way. And this is something that I hope other festivals and summits and, get-togethers take a cue from. Go to this link and go to their website and just look at the pictures of the lineup. Just look at the color of the pictures in the lineup.
I just had to bring this up because you guys, I'm going to bring up the website, and I know we're on the hour, so we're going to be shutting it down here, but you need to go to gfest.life, and check this out. That's actually the reason that Alexandra and I met in the first place, is because she wasn't really thrilled with how a certain thing was going because it didn't have enough color. There wasn't enough, I actually kind of like that. It wasn't colorful enough.
Well, there wasn't the representation that I would expect for that particular event. Yeah.
Right. But actually, what it was so that she and I could just like hang out and meet.
and ultimately, I will say that group knew that, and they were trying to fix it, and they were working on it. It just so happened that that's just where they were at the time. I'm not here to condemn people for where they're at. What I'm concerned is, are they aware? Are they working on it? Are they committed to it? And is it in integrity? That's really, look, the new world is promised. Judgment has happened. We're in a reckoning right now. If people aren't on board with understanding racism, with trying to evolve in those ways of learning, of finding some sort of activism within themselves, of evolving with where we're going, they're just not going to be in the new world. I don't need to condemn them. I don't need to judge them. It's already happened. We're going into a new world where there's going to be equity for people. It doesn't matter what color you are. We're going into a new world where these systems of oppression are not going to be able to survive. Right. So it is not my job to find out the people who are bullshitting, trying to bullshit still, and trying to fake it. And saying that they want racial equity, and then behind the scenes they're like, I don't fucking care, I just need to make the money. Those people, the reckoning is happening.
It kicks my butt. It just kicks my butt. I know who they are. I know who you
It's
are.
so easy to find it. It's so easy to know
Just
what
saying,
I'm talking
I
about.
know who you are out there. I can see you from a mile away.
Yeah.
Oh, this is what's happening right now. I better run this so that we get the audience. Go for it. Have fun with that. Here's what I have to say. In the long run, who's
Mm.
going to still be around? Who can the turtle and the tortoise and the hare. The tortoise and the hare, baby.
I love that story.
Tortoise and the hare. And I'm just moseying. I'll see y'all. We're just taking our time. I remember when Spirituality Gone Wild first got started, and I knew this was going to take some time. Things worth waiting for take time. People worth listening to, you always know. And go with your gut is what that really comes down to. Doesn't mean that anybody's doing anything right or wrong. Let's face it, what's meant for your harm will be turned for your good. And anybody out there that doesn't have an intention but still is bringing something to this world that we need to see, and maybe not done in the way that we think, but that's okay. Let's look for what's good in what it is that they're doing. I just kind of went. See, I went into judgy. Now I'm going to judge the judger that just judged. But I just want to point out, I'm very aware I did that. Oops.
That's part of the evolution. Like,
Right?
no
But
one's perfect.
no, but
Like, okay, I caught myself now. Now I'm gonna work on changing that. I know I do that. I have that condition. Yes. That's why I don't understand. That's why I don't practice the shame and the judgment and the guilt. It's like we're all working towards that. That person might not know in that moment, but if we don't attack them, they might find out a week from now. They might
that's
they
right.
might be open to finding out a month from now. There's we have to find these nuances in how we maybe call each other up or leave it alone, or create the boundaries and standards and boundaries within our communities. There's nuances to this. It's not all there's not all black and white.
no, no, no pun intended. Speaking of, remember when Michael Jackson? You're not even. I don't even know if you're old enough to remember.
I'm 37. I'm not. My face looks younger, but I am 37.
I know you're 37, but Michael Jackson's stuff like black and white came back out when I was really young. So that's why.
When it came out, I was in a dance recital that we did black and white. So I was a kid, but I do remember when it came out. Yeah.
Okay, sweet. And I was just thinking of that song because it just kind of came up. Everything is perspective, guys. I that really is what it comes down to. And do your damn best to not be a judgy judge. Okay, don't act ugly. And go to the G Fest, because if it's seriously, I'm going to be behind the scenes. You guys will see me in the Honey Hive.
I was so glad you were with us.
So
yeah.
come chill with me in the Honey Hive, and we're gonna have a freaking blast. I love all of you. Wendy, oh my God, I just saw you, dude. I haven't seen you like in forever. One last blast for Spirituality Gone Wild. You guys, we just launched our new membership. Finally, can y'all believe that? Cindy, Ellie, Michelle, Wendy, all y'all have been with me for forever. I did it. Go to spiritualitygonewild.com. Go check it out. Join us at the gfest.life. Women rule. By the way, the new Wonder Woman's coming out, Wonder Woman 2. If you haven't seen the first one, I am not getting paid for this.
I didn't know that. There's a lot of movies coming out. I feel like they've been holding. They're like, are we going to be able to make more movies? Are we going to be? We should start.
Yeah, but women, but Wonder Woman 2. Yeah,
Wonder Woman 2, a remake of The Craft, and Witches. A remake of The Witches. They're all coming.
Oh, rock on. We're going to have some fun days coming up. I personally missed the theater. That's why I went. And I saw Bill and Ted. I saw the Excellent Adventure. No, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure 2.
Okay.
It was really good. Seriously.
I have mixed feelings about that.
Do you?
I was so happy to hear Bill and Ted say, what are we going to do about those evil us's? It brought me back to watching Bill and Ted's over and over again, but I did not like the representation of the Black cave woman. I saw what they were trying to do. I did see what they were trying to do. I just felt like it was tone deaf. I just felt like
you felt like it was tone deaf. Okay. Like
too cave woman-y cowery. They could have done a different take on what ancient humans could have been. They did say she was the first human, but I feel like there was a different way they could have done that, and I just did not like the representation of that character.
Okay.
But I really did love seeing Bill and Ted again. So those are my feelings. I have to say it when I hear it.
And I love that you share your truth no matter what. And I dig it. But you see what I mean? It's perspective.
It's perspective.
And everybody's fucking right. I did it again. Shit. Everybody's right. God, I have got to. I can do
They're
anything I want on my network,
validating.
but I mean, I got to watch it because when I'm on Unify, I'm not allowed to do that. And then if I slip, and I always do. So,
Unify
oh
has
my
a
God.
Unify. You can't cuss.
No.
I didn't know that. That's good to know.
Yeah, I know, right? Because guess who is now going to be? She's on our panel of Women Rising on Unify. Officially, is Alexandra Loves. So Saturday mornings at 8 a.m. Oh my God! This boom, and all because she had her beautiful perspective and she knows how to use her voice. Learn how to do that by going to alexandraloves.com. Go join us at the G Fest. Tracy Romano says laughter is the best medicine in the world of anger and ugly. Sorry, she had to. I love you. Never be sorry, Tracy, because you are so perfectly divine, my goddess, as you are, Angel. She is too. And a phenomenal photographer. And Cindy's
Potty
laugh.
mouth.
It's just yeah. I just windy. It's just I don't know. I think it's something to do with just it is. It just doesn't matter. I love you all. I'll see you tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock again with Gina Renee, who was nominated for an for an Emmy Award for her songs, and she's been featured at the Agape Center right here in Los Angeles. So, all right, and go check out Alexandra. See y'all. Bye. Nobody. I see that with potty mouth people. Okay, we'll have a potty mouth club. Love you.